Well, Bish, we are back. Another NFL Sunday on the way. Another week of bets. We're coming back with a vengeance, Bish, this week, I think.
Yeah, we talked it up, but unfortunately, the action on the field didn't back up the analysis that we gave. So yeah, a tough week, but it's we're on to week 4, so hopefully we're starting to see some patterns now, and I think from going forward, you sort of see what teams are about now. You've had 3 weeks to get it sorted, and now hopefully you're seeing the best, and in some cases the worst of some teams.
Yeah, there's been a lot of surprises, haven't there? No excuses, obviously. I've not had the best of starts. I think I've hit 1 out of 3 in the first 3 weeks. I've not had the best, but yeah, it's been a crazy year so far, which makes it really interesting as a big fan of football and watching Red Zone. You generally don't know what's coming from each team at the moment, apart from the Miami Dolphins and large scores. I don't think there's any pure expected results. So, Bish, I think we'll go over last week, talk it through, give our reasons and our understandings, and then we'll get into next week. But we'll start off with yours, Bish, because I probably set you up for failure, Bish, because I was that happy about your bets that I was all in. So I probably apologise, Bish. I should have touched wood some more.
Yeah, no, Josh Jacobs, I think he finished around 60 yards, 60 rushing yards. So yeah, obviously that it was just over 10 short there. Again, it's not. He's getting better each week, but he's slow. It's a slow process with that one, and the Raiders aren't looking that hot, to be honest. They're throwing it a lot to Devontae Adams, and the running game's not really got there. The one we did nail was Jordan Addison. That's 49.5. I think he just got over that. So he had a big fourth quarter. Saw a lot of production in that fourth quarter, and we got that one home. And then Nico Collins, who I thought was CJ Stroud's main man, I think he finished on around 35, 36. And it turns out Tank Dell is CJ Stroud's main man. So a little bit different how I thought that one would go. I thought they'd be chasing the game at the Jags, and they were firmly in control and ended up winning by 20 points. So, yeah, 1 out of 3. I think that takes me to 4 out of 9. So, got some catching up to do.
I'm sure you will, Bish. But yeah, the Jordan Addison one. To be honest, Bish, I was nervous for you going into the half. I think he only had 1 catch going into the first half, and then I think once things got tough, which is a great for future bets, they went to him all the time. He was the safe throw. He was the man that was always open. And yeah, I'm excited to watch Addison throughout the rest of the year because I think he will be coming up on my bets a lot more. He impressed me. When Kirk Cousins needed a man to throw to, Justin Jefferson was getting double covered, triple covered. Addison got himself open time and time again, and I thought he did exceptionally well in that second half, Bish.
Yeah, he's a player I like. He's a player I've looked at. As I said, I got him myself week 2 when his line was a lot shorter. And I got him again week 3. And it's the way the Vikings play. We spoke about them last year. The defense isn't the best. They're going to be chasing points. And other than Justin Jefferson, they need that number 2 there who can also rack up the yards along with Hockenson. So I think that's going to be a one that we, again, you look for. I'm certainly looking for it. And a sneaky one that I might have him this week as well.
Oh, I like that, Bish. I like that little tease. Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll go over my losses. Well, we'll start off with a win. The Colts +8 ended up being pretty safe, Bish, didn't it? Quite happy with that one.
Yeah, great pick. I had a bit of doubt over that one, I must admit, but the way it turned out, it's an outstanding pick. They were very close. Got a bit fortuitous, maybe with a few took and missed field goals, but full credit to them. Especially without Anthony Richardson as well. The backup Gardner Minshew's good enough to start, I think. But yeah, it's a team that I think are not going to be blown out in many games. They're going to be fighting till the end, and at the minute they're in contention for that AFC South.
Brilliant. On to my next few losses. Jameer Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. I called this the rookie touchdown special, and there was nothing special about these two. Well, no, they still look good, but sadly, just didn't happen from it, did it, Bish? I was a bit shocked, to be honest. Both had good plays, but I couldn't quite work it. I think both had chances as well. I was cheering them on. I thought Jameer Gibbs got onto the 1 yard line at one point, but yeah, neither could just get over that line.
Yes, this is one I've not fully caught up on, obviously playing Sunday night, so I missed this one. But yeah, that was a big chance for Gibbs to sort of take over the backfield a little bit with Montgomery out, because I think he's back this week. So yeah, but again, we know what Bijan's about, and I'm sure Jameer, given the more experience he gets, I'm sure them two will be stars of the future.
And then, yeah, I had the pay. So this was another Bet365 bet boost. I took one of them in till we get a sponsorship. But yeah, the Patriots, the Patriots played well. The New York Jets did not. I don't think they did not reach the 15 points, and Ramondre Stevenson did not get a touchdown. So yeah, tough. 1 out of 3 for me, Bish. To be honest, bit disappointed, but what can you do? On to the week coming forward.
That's it. Just learn and move on.
Learn and move on. I like it. Our motto so far, 3 weeks in, learn and move on. Bish, we'll start with yours. We'll talk us through it. I'll load them up now.
Yeah, so my week. Oh, there last week's, yeah.
Classic.
So week 4, we're up and running. I'm starting with Amari Cooper, over 4.5 receptions for the Browns. They're up against the Ravens in a game that I think could be a bit of a slugfest, if I'm honest. But Cooper's the main man there for Deshaun Watson. He's had a minimum of 7 targets in each game. Obviously, the 3 weeks previous. The last 2 weeks, he saw 7 catches in those games, and week 1 was down at 3, but that was played in a bit of a bad weather monsoon. And the Ravens, they've got injuries all over the place at the minute, and they're really struggling in that secondary. Last week, as we spoke about the Colts, 2 receivers went for 9 receptions, 8 receptions. The week 2 against the Bengals, Higgins had 8, Boyd had 6, and week 1 against the Texans, Collins had 6 and Woods had 6. So I think 4.5 here. I think that's a juicy one, that and one. Although I have been the previous weeks, I'm pretty confident Amari Cooper can at least see 5 receptions here.
Yeah, I'm completely with you, Bish. I'm quite surprised it's that low, to be honest. I must have missed that one, because that would have been in mine if I saw that. I think we've like you said, the Ravens haven't looked too crazily good. They played a slow pace game so far, heavy running. Lamar's done a few throws and he looked okay, but they play slow and they don't. And I think the Amari's looked amazing, Bish. Amari's looked amazing. He's the number 1 receiver. I don't think there's anyone really competing with him even closely at the moment. Like you said, hopefully Deshaun Watson can provide that for you, Bish. Because unless Deshaun's really miles off, that should be a fairly safe bet.
I hope so. It's the 2 teams that like to run the ball a lot. Obviously, Chubb's out, Jerome Ford's come in, but still, I think there's enough there to get at least 5 receptions. So hopefully that one goes well. Number 2, the Bengals -2.5. So this is one we saw a bit. This is I say interesting one. It's one that some might oppose a little bit. I mean, they played on a Monday night, so it's a short week for them. They played Monday night against the Rams, and now they're playing Sunday against the. I've just lost my train of thought. Against Tennessee Titans, that's it. Tennessee. Yeah. Totally lost it there. So yeah, they're playing Sunday against Tennessee, but I wasn't lucky. I'm going to take on Tennessee as much as I can against teams that I believe can score points, because I just don't see how Tennessee score points. Our unlucky week 2 against the Chargers. The Chargers, personally, I thought they were better in all departments, but somehow still managed to come up with a defeat in that one. We've seen Joe Burrow on Monday night. He looked okay. Obviously, a short turnaround is going to affect his calf a little bit in terms of recovery, but I think there's just too much about him to be able to trouble the Titans here. The Titans are very good against the run. They're actually ranked 4th against the run. They only give up 69 rushing yards a game, so Mixon might have a quiet game, but I just think Chase had his breakout game on Monday, 12 catches for 141 yards. So I just think that the Bengals will have too much in this one. So I think they're more than a field goal good enough to beat the Titans. So yeah, that's that one. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, on the Bengals, like I said, they need the big breakout. They played better on Monday. I'll say. Still, I think there's still plenty to go, as you said, Mitch. But yeah, looking at Twitter, I shouldn't get my sources from Twitter. It's always either true or completely false, isn't it? But they say Ryan Tannehill's pretty much on the trade deadline, in the trade block, Bish. I don't know if you've seen much about this, but they said they're trying to get rid of him, and I think that's why he's just not the guy anymore. He had a good season 3 years ago now, and he's just not quite done it. They've got Derrick Henry, who we've discussed, isn't quite firing on all cylinders. They don't really have much more offense. DeAndre Hopkins is that year older. What a wonderful wide receiver he's been over the years, but not the same guy he was now. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't see many touchdowns, and I think the Bengals have got plenty in them. As they always start badly. I don't want to cliche them. It's never good to put a team in a box, but they do notoriously start badly. Whatever they do in preseason, clearly they like to ease into it and get firing on all cylinders later than other teams and try fire for the playoffs. And it'll be coming now, Bish, I think. And yeah, I think it's another safe good bet.
Yeah, I think Tennessee, they're a bit of a weird team in a weird situation. I think that they're in a sort of where they need to rebuild a little bit, but they've got a coach there who I think, along with like the Mike Tomlins, the Bill Belichick's, he doesn't like losing. He won't tank just for the sake of it. So it seems a bit of a weird mix, that team. And as you said, they've got two young quarterbacks behind Tannehill. So yeah, we'll see what happens with them. And then my last one, as I've spoke about, Jordan Addison. You know, I'm liking what I'm seeing. You know, the Vikings, I think, are points machines. Justin Jefferson will always get his, and then I think Jordan Addison's really playing into that number 2 spot. And this line's actually 10 points down from last week, so it's around the similar line as it was to week 2 against the Eagles. So it's over 38.5 receiving yards for Addison. And as I said, as you said, he was pretty quiet in the game, but then he came alive in the fourth quarter. And he actually ended up with 8 targets and 6 receptions. So he come up big. And we've spoke about Vikings. The defense just doesn't want to defend, or just can't defend. So it means that they're going to have to score a lot of points. The Panthers aren't the biggest of scorers, but at the minute, the young rookie quarterback Bryce Young is out injured, and Andy Dalton's in there. And I think that just gives them a bit more about them in the short term. They've put 27 points up against the Seattle Seahawks last week. So if they can get, to a similar amount, it means obviously the Vikings are going to have to keep throwing the ball and try and get those points. So I'm going to keep sticking with him if the line's low. I think his value. He's averaged 61 yards a game. His lowest been 52 yards. So at 38.5, I'm taking that.
Yeah, another great find, Bish. I can't believe it's that low. Last week told me everything I need to know. Not that I'm this guru of NFL, but trust is a massive thing, as you know, Bish. Quarterbacks to wide receivers. I think it's mainly trust. That's why you see some quarterbacks come in and find a completely different wide receiver that they like throwing to, and that makes that wide receiver explode. It happens all the time. Different quarterbacks like different wide receivers, and we've seen that Addison is the man. We've seen that Addison is the man behind what's his name on Twitter, Jettis or something.
Yeah, Jay Jettis.
Yeah, behind Justin Jefferson, Jay Jettis, because he's going to be double covered every single game. He is the ultimate man, probably the best wide receiver in the game. But this Addison could be coming up there, and you might have two of the best future wide receivers for years to come. And the fact that Cousins has got such trust in Addison this early, 3 weeks in as a rookie, is fantastic when there is such a tried and tested answer in Justin Jefferson there. So, yeah, I think that's a tremendously good find again, Bishop. Well done.
Yeah, this is a big week for them as well. They're 0-3, so obviously they're in the playoffs last year. This is a huge week that they must win. So in that respect, I think they're going to be throwing the ball even more than they usually do.
Yeah, they'll be looking to have some fun, won't they? Get that win and get some roll going. I think the defense could have a big week as well against, like you said, Andy Dalton, who's had some okay to good years, but he's not sadly a top level quarterback. So they'll be looking to get into it, and I think that they'll have fun. I think they'll have a lot of fun, Minnesota, and looking to get the season going and hopefully make them playoffs. Bish to mine. Let's have it. We've got the Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills. I've got the Dolphins winning this. I saw a plus 2.5 line, Bish, and I had to take it. I think, again, how well have they been playing? 70 points last week. They just looked unstoppable. The Bills' defense, as you know, and you'll probably come back saying, Joe, the defense, I think they're unguardable. Tyreek, unguardable. They didn't have Waddle last week. That was the storyline. They did it without Waddle. Well, it clearly shows Tyreek's the man. They've got the running backs are just as fast as Tyreek. They've got speed all over the park, and it's going. The offense is just unstoppable. And I'm with him. I think the Bills don't have something for me, Bish. I don't know quite what it is. They're a great team, and I think against everyone else that they'll win comfortably. But in these close games, they never seem to quite do it for me. And that's why I think Miami are coming with a vengeance this year. I think they're coming and they're slowly creeping into that Super Bowl conversation for me, Bish.
Yeah, definitely. I'd just like to say I fancied them. I did, on the predictions. I had them, but no, I agree. The one thing they missed last year was a running game, and last week you've got both the running backs, or eight touchdowns between them. I think 400 yards, 200 each. So they're absolutely killing that side of the ball. The Bills, I think it's all on Josh Allen. If Josh Allen plays well, they play well. As we saw week 1 against the Jets, I think he threw multiple interceptions. They lose the game. The next 2 weeks, he's playing very well. They score 30 points both weeks. So it could be an old-fashioned shootout, this one. We know the Dolphins score points. Buffalo are going to have to score points to keep up potentially. So I'm looking forward to it. And it adds that little bit of spice as well because it's a divisional battle. So, it's there's a lot at stake. And I was quite surprised that Dolphins were underdogs in this, given the results this year and how they've started. So to take them plus 2.5, I think that's a good bet.
Thanks, Bish. Appreciate that. The next one is actually the London game. We'll get into it, so I'll just rattle over this one quick, Bish, because we've got a segment coming up. But I've got the Falcons to win and Tyler Algier to score a touchdown. Obviously, it kind of goes against the consensus, would you say, Bish? The Jags are a very good run defense team. They're very good at defending the run. I'll word that slightly better. But something about these Falcons, Bish, I just like. I know they had a tough loss last week, but they're hard nosed. They've got a lot of good players. I think they're a tough team to stop the run completely. And I'm not convinced by the Jags. It's been probably our big debate back and forth. I think you're now coming towards, you're not believing in them as much. Something about the Jags I don't believe in. I know they typically play quite well in London, don't they? So I'm going against the consensus here. But something about these Falcons, Bish, I just like, kind of like my pick with the Colts last week. This is a feeling pick. This is not one that goes with the stats. So it's just a feeling pick. I like what Atlanta are doing. They're playing an off-brand style, an old-school style of football, and I like it. And you know how much I love Algier, so I'll chuck Algier in a touchdown. He got 2 in his first week. He's not had one since, but he still looked good. I've been watching his highlights. I do like to follow him. He's so powerful with a bit of speed, and just I like the way he plays and runs. And I think he's got another touchdown coming. You can't hold Algier back too much.
Nice. Yeah, it's an interesting one. As you said, the Jags, we'll speak about it later, but the Jags are used to this out of the organisation. They're used to this trip and playing over here. So it would favour them a little bit, I think. But I think it's all down to game script. If the Jags are good against the D, but if Falcons can get ahead and obviously use their run game, I think they've got a good chance. But I think for me this week, it's make or break for the Jags this week, especially for Lawrence and Ridley. So we'll see what they're about.
And then my third pick, I've got the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Texans to win. I've got them to score over 20.5 points with Najee Harris over 25 rushing yards. Again, Najee Harris hasn't got over 75 rushing yards this year yet. So I think this is going to be his breakout game. The Houston Texans have been getting better on the defensive side, but their one weakness is against the run. I think they'll be looking to get that offensive line going, which over, I think, the last 15 years, they've had such a good offensive line. They really value their offensive line at Pittsburgh, and it's not been quite as good as it normally is. They'll be looking to get Kenny Pickett going. They'll be looking to get Najee Harris going by getting that offensive line solidified and really getting into this, again, a team that will be looking at the playoffs, that team that, as you said last year, Mike Tomlin does not go under 100, so he'll be looking for a big win here. And I think that's the way to do that is to get Najee Harris and the rushing game going, Bish. And I do like the Texans. They've got a brilliant they've got a brilliant young quarterback there in CJ Stroud. They're doing all the right things, but I think that Mike Tomlin head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers will push it through, and I think it could be a big week for them against. They're still not a great. I think they're ranked 23rd on the defensive side of the ball this year, Bish, which is a lot better than the 27th, 28th they ranked last year. But yeah, they've still got a long way to go, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will be looking to have a big win this week.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, and after that awful start to the 49ers, 30 points to 7, they've put 2 wins together, and 2-1, and all of a sudden things look a lot different for them. So yeah, it's, as you said, a gritty team. Getting the run going is obviously main big part of what they do. So can Najee, and if they come into the game leading, you'd think Najee will get fed quite a bit. Jalen Warren is the other back there, but he seems to get a lot of the receiving work. So if they can get that lead, then hopefully that should be a good bet. Yeah.
No, and then to finish off, Bish, before we get into the London game, Tag's touchdown treble. Come on, Tag. Bish, take us through him.
Tag, he's all wide receivers this week. He's gone for the wide receiver. So he's got George Pickens for the Steelers. He's got Jamar Chase for the Bengals, and he's got Stefan Diggs for the Bills. So, we've just spoke about Steelers. Steelers Texans. So George Pickens has had a good start to the year. Been making some great catches. So that'll be a good pick. And Jamar Chase, as we said, he had his breakout game on Monday, 141 yards. Not that touchdown yet, so hopefully it comes this week. And then what could be a points fest, Stefan Diggs, obviously the Bills' main receiver, coming in at 10-1 that one. So, some big names there who hopefully deliver for us.
Yeah, it kind of it's kind of nice actually. We don't coordinate the bets beforehand, do we? That kind of all links to what our bets so far. Like you said, Cincinnati doing well. Pittsburgh, I've just said, looking for a big score, big breakout game to really get the season going after 2-1 start. Good, but I think they'll be looking for the playoffs. I know Mike Tomlin definitely is. And like you said, that shootout with the Dolphins and the Bills will be a great game. So I guess it's the opposite to me on that result. But still, I think there'll be a lot of touchdowns scored, won't there, Bish?
Hopefully, yeah, that's it. And if Stefan Diggs can grab one, then we're 1/3 of the way there. So fingers crossed.
And Bish, so yeah, we've made this show. We're all excited. Being a UK-based podcast on the NFL, we thought we'd better give a big highlight to the UK games, didn't we, Bish? And so we've come at you with 3 bets for this weekend's game. Bish, take us through it and give us your breakdown.
So, Mike, yeah, obviously the Jags' 10th game in London. This will be so. Yeah, it's obviously great to have games in London that you can go down and soak up that atmosphere. So my pick for this one is Bijan Robinson over 25.5 receiving yards, and we've just spoke about there the Jags being a good good team against the run and forcing, but they're bad against the pass, so that possibly going to force Desmond Ridder to throw the ball here, and we know that's not his strong point. So I think Bijan Robinson might be the one here. Just little throws, often just to make the yards. And Bijan's he's had a minimum of 5 targets and 4 catches in all 3 games. He's had 27 yards week 1, 48 week 2, and 27 week 3. So he's covered that line in all 3 games so far. So I'm hoping this will be the 4th game that he does, and that'll tick one out of 3 off on this bet.
Bish, we're going 3 out of 3 because I've got the Falcons winning this one, Bish. As I went over it, I might have been slightly lazy because I've done my 3 bets, one of them in, but it was one of my bets. I am excited about, as I spoke about beforehand. I'm really excited about this game, Bish. Obviously, being from the UK and it being a UK-based game, let's represent the UK fans. Well, they always come out in droves. I think it's it's pretty much a sold-out game again. It's just exciting, and I think, I'm excited about this Atlanta team. Like I said, they play old school. They run the ball. They have some really good running concepts that, for traditional fans, that you like big catches, you like big plays on the receiving end. Well, watch a team here that plays some exciting football, but another way. And I think that they're tough-nosed. They've got 2 of the most exciting running backs I like to watch. Obviously, Bijan, as you mentioned, and my man Tyler Algier. Loyal fans of the show will know my love for this man. You'll be able to watch him at 2:30 on Sunday. Watch Tyler Algier in all his beauty behind Bijan, and let's see a great game, Bish. But Bish, take us into Tag's one.
Yeah, so Tag's touchdown scorer is Evan Ingram, the tight end for the Jags. So yeah, that's he actually had a good game last week. So that hopefully he's coming out. But again, I think this one is all down to Trevor Lawrence. You know, he's been slow starting these last 3 weeks, and I think that's where the game's going to be won. If they are going to win it, it's going to be through the air. So if Trevor Lawrence can make those passes. He struggled a lot with his wide receivers dropping the ball. Calvin Ridley had 4 drops. So we're hoping Evan Ingram doesn't have those drops and he can find the end zone for us.
Yeah, it's going to be, to be honest, Bish, I think when these games got announced midway through last year or near the end, was it? This is probably one that you'd think an easy Jags win. When it got announced, it might have not been the most exciting game. Well, both the teams have got storylines going into this one. Are Atlanta for real? Obviously, as you said, can the Jags get it going and replicate some of the success they had last year? So it does actually have quite a lot of excitement, Bish. I'm quite excited to watch it. I'll be live on TV, obviously at a different time than the 6 o'clock schedule, so it gives you a full day of football. What can be better?
Yeah, that's it. Unfortunately, I've got my playoff game, so I won't see it. But this is a good one because I'm actually leaning the Jags. I just think their quarterback is. If it comes down to quarterbacks, I think Lawrence just has more talent. So I'm hoping, and I need it for fantasy. So come on, Lawrence. But not too good.
We need the 3 out of 3 on the bet.
We need the bet. We need the bet.
You should have said to me, "Message, do not put it on the Atlanta Falcons." I would have tried to change, but yeah, conflict of interest for the London game. That's my. Hey, for fans watching, for everyone watching on Instagram, obviously YouTube. You can't comment on Spotify, do you? I was going to say Spotify, but Instagram, YouTube, all Facebook, everywhere else. Please put your bet for the NFL London game. I'll be watching. I'll reply to all the messages. We'll get some debates going. Who do you think's right, me or Bish? I've got the Atlanta Falcons. Bish has got the Jags. Let's have it, Bish.
Yeah, let's see who comes out on top.
When is your game, Bish? When's your playoff game? Will you catch any of it, or will
3 o'clock? 3 o'clock kickoff. So no, I'll be back for the. I'll just be about done for the red zone 6 o'clock. So yeah, it'll be one I catch up on probably the next day. So.
Well, Bish, once you finish that game, if you see 5 or 6 notifications from me, you'll know who won. If you don't, see a thing, you'll know it. You'll have to message me getting stuck into me. So you'll know pretty early after that game who's winning. But yeah, Bish, finishes off. Any comments for the future? Give us anything you've got.
No, that's it. Yes, hopefully we can come back with a vengeance and rack them in. Obviously, we've got the special London games. There's multiple games this year, so we'll do the same for them. yeah, looking forward to it. I'm at the Spurs game, Ravens Bills later on. So
Wow.
yeah, looking forward to that. But a full day of football, 2:30 kickoff, and then all the way through to midnight, and even the late game if you're still awake. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Come on, Bish, I'm on it. I will be watching all day long. So yeah, Bish, I'll steal your one. Please like, subscribe, comment, get it shared everywhere. Our views are going up week on week, so that's all we can ask for. Keep liking, keep subscribing. And do everything you can to share the love. Please get some comments in. We love talking football. I love arguing. I love debating. I'll be in there with anyone who disagrees with anything I've got to say. So let's have it, and we'll keep growing the show.
Lovely.
Bish, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, good luck everyone out there betting.